Hey my friends, it's your friend Kevin here with today's Divine Daily Blast. Let's get right to it, shall we? Thanks for being here. Thanks for liking, subscribing, doing all the wonderful things you do. Today, my Lord, is an angel numerology number 7 day. Focus. So what do I want you to you focus on what you want to focus on, but I would be saying focus on the full moon energy. Yes. I'm going to get to that in a minute. But focus. So what's number 7? You're on the right path. Your spiritual desires and your plans are really correct. They're also benefiting you in the world, your priorities in the right order. Pull out the 7 of Cups, 7 of Water if you're using a different deck, the Sun and the Chariot card. Work with Archangel Metatron and Archangel Michael to allow things to just hubble and bubble. I like the 7 number. For me, the number 7's magical. Today's the day to be charming and studious, curious, focused, maybe a little introverted if you want. Divine magic is afoot and doors of opportunity are favored to open on a number 7 angel numerology day. Here are my isms. I am calm. I am peace. I am balance. I am stillness. I am ease. And each one of these affirmations, everything after the word I am, is a call to the divine. I am these things. Even if you're not, at the moment that you call it, you have to act as if you are. And take a breath in. I am calm, breathe in. Release chaos. I am peace, breathe in. Release noise or whatever you want, the opposite to peace. I am balance. Release imbalance. I am stillness. Release fidgeting. I am ease. Release struggle. Every exhale you get to release. Every inhale you get to bring in. And if we did that each time, we concentrated on 5 breaths with the 5 fingers of your hands, you'll find a peace, a balance, a stillness, an ease, and a calm. Just keep going. That's really all you've got to do. Stay present to it. Anytime that you come up against a feeling of anxiety, debauchery, oh my gosh, fear, you feel it in your heart space, your throat space, the upper chest area gets tight sometimes. Well, then you say, all is well. From this moment forward, my life is perfect. You could also say, my life is perfectly lined up for me. All the time, everything in my life, no matter what. I'm already perfect and I'm choosing to grow and improve. Growth and improvement comes from a space that something needed to grow and something needed to be improved. And it starts with us. You are on this journey, this adventure. And this adventure and this journey of life, living it in the physical, in the here and the now, which is where you've chosen to be, whether you're conscious of it or not. It's your opportunity to make the necessary changes that need to be made, that you want to make. And sometimes those changes are really challenging. Here's a message from the guardian angels. We love a good time and a good joke as much as you do. Allow space in your life for lightness and joy in all moments, great and small. I'm a magnet for good hair days and spontaneous dance parties. I embrace fun in my life. Now, this is really challenging because we have a perfect example of how the world is in turmoil, at least parts of it. The division between what is good and what is not so good. Chaos. Madness. We can't help but be drawn to the daily news cycle of these hellacious wars that do not involve light workers, or do they? Lifting our hands and our hearts and our minds and our intentions and our vibration up, we are joining the throngs, and those throngs are increasing. I spoke yesterday of the monks from all over the world who walked over 2,000 miles for peace. That is a strong movement, my friends. And we're not the only ones. Communities, the oppressed, the marginalized, have been working with those who seek to destroy that. Joy, happiness, peace, kumbaya, all of that. We've been working for decades. 100 years ago, women were working for the right to vote. Then the right to work. I think I spoke last week that there was a time that when a woman married a man, if she was a working woman, she was expected to give up her position. The man was expected to become the breadwinner. Times have changed. We went through the 70s of the sexual revolution where women, equal rights for women. Then you end up with other groups of people that were marginalized and told they couldn't be who they are. I'm one of them. I want to go into that political mess, but we have been pushing up against authority. Now we get this ideal chance that light workers are awakening in greater numbers. Creativity is at the paramount. The amount of people that are making videos about how to be creative with all kinds of things. This morning I was watching something briefly about somebody who used cloth, cut them up into strips, and this person made a rag rug. I was fascinated. Myself, a year or so ago, I learned a little bit about crochet. It keeps my mind, my hands, and my craft going through these really challenging times. So making statements like I'm a magnet for good hair days and spontaneous dance parties and I embrace fun in my life, it's really challenging to embrace fun in your life when everything outside, or at least worldwide, seems to be the opposite. I had a lovely conversation with my aging parents. Both of them will be 89 this year. We were talking about how all these things happen and how that my father made mention that why is it that people are not happy? People don't seem to be really happy. They don't. The more they have, the more miserable they are. Which I found that quite fascinating. Never thought of it that way, but it's true. Let's move on from that. Where are we today with the moon? Yes, full moon. The full moon is in the sign of Virgo, but it's also an eclipse. So you might find your energy all over the place. My doodle, Rocco, he's all black, but he's a golden doodle, if you can figure that out. He was outside at 2:30 this morning barking at the moon, literally, not howling, barking. I'm sure my neighbours like that, but still. Getting up and telling him, come in, what is going on? He was reacting to something. But the full moon happens in LA at 3:37 this morning, in New York 6:37, and oddly enough I am recording this at 6:36 in the morning on the East Coast, which is New York. In London it's happening at 11:37 this morning, and in Sydney, Australia it'll be happening at 11:37 tonight. Or 22:37. That's 10:37. Sorry. So happy full moon eclipse in Virgo. Here's the thing. This full moon eclipse is super emotional, because when we move on from the past, it can be a little bit like pulling a band-aid off. Ouch, hurts. Little smarting going on. But we have to release who we were, what we were, and we have to embrace who we are wanting to become. We have the Dominions with us. The Dominions are, I would almost want to call them the Light Council. They're over all the angel realms except for the higher angel realms. And their purpose and their job, their activation messages, I am willing to light up all parts of myself. Lighting up all parts of yourself has to be let go of the struggle, let go of the strife, get into good hair days, embrace life, embrace it. It's a gift. Hanuman is here this week, a devoted warrior. Let God's love hold you in strength. If you don't like the word God, use the word universe. Divine source energy, the great creator. Let the love that you were created with hold you in strength. Louise Hay's daily diary says, I have my own set of talents and abilities which life appreciates. You could also add that I have my own talents and abilities and I appreciate my talents and abilities. I use my talents and abilities for the highest good of all. These are wonderful affirmations. And when we do it, all is well. Everything in my life is working out perfectly for me. My talents and abilities are helping myself and others. When we do this, we lift up, we lighten up, we brighten up, we change the trajectory of worry and woe and anxiety. Now, today's tarot card is the Justice. Now, I pull 7 cards on a Sunday, 1 for each day of the week. Sometimes I shuffle in between each one to get the right one. Sometimes I shuffle the whole deck and pull 7 from the top. It's all about intention. But they seem to work. And in this card, we see our figure, the goddess, who looks like the goddess of law and the goddess of, or just the goddess of law, really. She's flying up through the air, suggesting a more dramatic and transcendent vision of justice. In other words, this woman's going to the higher council, the light council. Inside each one of these scales is a lightsaber holding the framework of it. She holds an elaborate set of scales up to the sky, and they're filled with cosmic energy, those light sabers. And this is about the belief that the higher power balances the good out with the bad, or the not so good. And there are 4 objects floating in front of her. One's a traditional sword, you can see that. And this sword seems to be the ephemeral than the classic image. Halfway towards the tip it fades away, closer to the viewer, and thus it's giving precedence. There's a metal nibbed quill pen along with 2 scrolls, you can see them, for writing. Clearly, this is the concept that law, legislation, the courts is superior to arms. So justice in this card represents the concept of fairness, rationality, and adjudication. And our goddess of justice today is telling us that disagreements, arguments, upsets need to be handled in a formal process, guided by an objective mediator. You could be that objective mediator. You could be the one that looks at both sides of an argument, both sides of an issue. But we all need to be flexible, and we all need to be alive and able to grow so that we can meet our new challenges rather than being dogmatic and unyielding and working from a set of principles that really don't work. And we can see that playing out daily. Pushing, shoving, forcing, making something happen because somebody said so. No, that's not so good. Follow the heart space. And when we follow our heart space and make it good for all, it works. So the key words in all of this is justice, fairness, rationality. Choosing to appeal to higher processes rather than relying on force. Negatively being overly judgment or setting standards doesn't work. Now, if you're looking for an astrological meaning for this card, it would be Libra. The sign of Libra. Think about Libra. And then you think about Metatron, you think about Michael, the archangels to use for today on the number 7. And the number 7, I think, is a little bit like things could turn rather quickly. We've got that full moon eclipse. We've let go of what was going on, what was holding us back, what we no longer need. Fairies, fairies everywhere. Give us a card that can send a blessing and work through all this today. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. There. Energy. Oh, now this is the second time this card has popped up. We see this. It's kind of interesting. You see this card, our fairy king, energy coming from the top of his head, straight down to the star in his heart, right down to his hands. This is going inward. This is taking a higher viewpoint. If that making, I hope that's making sense. Let me know in the comments if that is making sense. And energy is everything. Vibrational energy is everything. Generate more physical and mental power. Eat healthy, if you will. Rest well. Call the universe that's available to you. Manifest energy by doing something physical, or conversely, having an extra hour in bed. Either way, it's good. Both of these approaches can increase your vitality. So energy, increase your vitality. Live life to the fullest. Discard anything that's, it's a bit like anything else. You have a plant that has a brown leaf or a leaf that's not doing so well, cut it from the stem of the plant. The roots are still growing. But the root system of that plant doesn't want to support this dead leaf anymore. Things like that. I think that's making sense. Let me know in the comments. I love reading your comments. You are all so amazing. And I appreciate all of you for being here and doing what you do. Today is about standing in the light of the full moon and claiming your space. And until tomorrow, bye for now.